My word, there's some angry people out there, and it seems to have upset a few. Me bad, it seems. Anyway, let's get into this, shall we? Richard II famously says he surveyed his kingdom from his cell in the Tower of London. What a strange and fickle land this is. One feels the same could apply to the internet. There are lots and lots of dumb people out there, and I'm very grateful to the internet for helping me to understand that. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? First comment is from someone who seems to resent the fact that I make a living from YouTube. AD9830 says, "This is a job, saying you hate this and that. You just show how unfit you are to work, if this is what you do for money." Not at all. It shows you have a wonderful ability to write reviews, talk about music, interview some great people, and to build a successful channel. My word, what a terrible thing the old green-eyed monster is. It got to the point where I started earning money. I'm now registered self-employed, which I see as a success story. These hate videos are supposed to be a bit tongue-in-cheek, really, but you need a modicum of intelligence to work that out. And let's face it, you're as sharp as a sack full of soup, aren't you? Paul O'Keefe 2737 writes, "Oh dear, yet another midlife crisis special band t-shirt made by a 12-year-old in Bangladesh." This was actually made by a 13-year-old in Bangladesh, you what's next, Barry? An Elton John-esque hair transplant? I don't think so. Mongering vacation in Pattaya, Thailand. Loads of old soaks look exactly like you there, by the way. You feel right at home. Tell the ball and chain it's a business-related trip to record fairs stateside. Good for the old channel. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I'm not a proctologist, but I know an arsehole when I see one, and unfortunately dealing with these sort of people comes with the territory. I think he's suggesting I might be a washed-up old soak. I mean, over the ageism, eh? Terrible. As regards Thailand, you seem to be quite an authority on the hump bars, if you don't mind me saying so. What's the matter, sweetheart? Are you carrying some trauma? Maybe a big bald fellow in a Led Zeppelin t-shirt left you feeling a bit sore. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. SBX340 writes, "Ooh, prog rock, you pretentious bastard with all your superfluous chords." It's way too hot at the moment for superfluous chords, so I tend to wear arseless chaps. Just be grateful that I film from the waist up. Dazzly writes, "Tired of listening? Don't then, you won't be missed." Well, I do have 100,000 subs, so my absence might well be noticed. Unlike you, I think any positive impression you'll make on the world is possibly a chalk outline. Dazzly, now there's an ironic name for a complete dullard. If you want to be a smart arse, you have to be at least smart, otherwise you're just an arse, aren't you? Tim Case 3271 writes, "Ta-da-da, ta-da-da, oh yeah, need we say more?" I think in your case it's best you say as little as possible. Just stroke your chin, look quizzical, let people imagine there is actually something going on in there. I must admit I've often seen people like you, but I usually have to pay admission. Andrew Fraser 4376 writing about my 10 favourite albums of all time or something like that says it's a very white list. Unfortunately these pearl clutchers and ball acres are absolutely legion on the internet these days. But unlike you, my friend, I don't see colour. I take to heart that wonderful Martin Luther King speech where he says, "I don't judge people by the colour of their skin, but the content of their record collection." And Fred Blogs 911 writes, in response to my Jeff Beck video, "Bet you Jeff Beck didn't wear his mum's underwear, unlike people who like The Cure." Well, I love The Cure, and I've never worn my mother's underwear, so that blows your theory out of the water, doesn't it? Yahoo sucks to you. Now, my Auntie Mabel, on the other hand, she used to have these lovely silky numbers. Kenny Rigby writes, "Oh my God, not another one, for God's sake. Does a favour and rename the channel the Jethro Tal Arse-Liking Channel." Oh, the prose is just exquisite. Obviously, he's complaining about that I put a lot of Jethro Tal videos on my channel, which I do because I love Jethro Tal. But if you look at all the videos I've uploaded, and there's probably a few thousand of them by now, Jethro Tal make about a few percent, I think. I think I upload more Pink Floyd videos, another band I love, more than Jethro Tal. But if you don't like what I upload, you're quite free to jog on. I'll leave you with a quote from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. "Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries." Keith Barnett 6952 writes, "Perhaps nothing more worthless than a rock critic. I'm in no way joking or exaggerating." I think there's a lot of things more worthless than a rock critic. Internet trolls, for one. I think you're incapable of joking because it requires some basic level of cognitive wiring up there. First of all, I don't really consider myself a rock critic. I'm just some bloke that likes to talk about music that just decided I'll do it in front of a camera. And it seems to have taken off. I do this very well now, and I do very well at it, quite frankly. You might want to think about them when you're stacking shells full of double-ply kludgy paper. You may think you have something worth saying, but believe me, my friend, the myth is lying to you. Maybe I'm being unfair, maybe you're not stupid, maybe you just have bad luck when you're thinking. KR26000 writes, shame on you, full stop. Your comment are just embarrassing. I think comment needs to be plural here. And your personal voice, question mark, what about my personal voice? People getting older, sick, full stop. Your comments turn to shit. Your comment are just embarrassing. Your grammar is embarrassing, my friend. It's like a bad haiku. And what's really scary about this is he's actually edited this. So at some point you thought, oh, this isn't quite good enough, and he's rewritten it and come up with this turd. Seriously, I've said this before, but I could eat a bowl of alphabet soup and poop out a better sentence than this. But as George Carling says, never argue with an idiot, they'll beat you with experience. Eric98539, this channel is for all the basement dwellers who are bitter that they never had the talent and determination to make it. This old joker, just a negative Nancy without the hair. I've seen lots of negative Nancys with no hair, by the way. Get real, get a life. Well, it seems that you all here watching this channel are just a load of basement dwellers, you bastards. Mind you, I can imagine this guy all trussed up in his internet troll gimp suit. In terms of get a life, I have an absolutely fabulous life, thank you very much. I'm exactly where I want to be, doing exactly what I want to do. And I may well be bald, but I once had hair, whereas I suspect you've always been an arsehole. Moses Gladstone 8274 said, what the FXCK, question mark, exclamation mark, why did you make this? Oh, I don't know, just to piss you off maybe. You've got to enjoy the little things in life. And this one, Rich6966. Wow, really go at this in a confrontational way. Let's see how this pans out, fella. Turns out you're just some tart online. I'm not just a tart online. I'm quite a successful tart online, by the way. Hope you're proud of yourself immensely. People age with or without drugs. This is true, but they don't usually preen around on stage and charge a fortune for people to see them like a museum piece, singing to backing tracks most of the time. They usually have grandchildren that say, come on, Gramps, you're making yourself look ridiculous now. As well as probably appealing to flatulent mediocrity enablers like yourself. Let's get back to it. You think you can call into question some of these shows, you're just some YouTube desperate worm. Nothing desperate about me at all. So you enjoy your 0.0000 cent fee for this comment. Oh, I get loads more than that. I'll monetize this comment in this video. You're a pathetic, hateful person. I think you're the one that's coming across as rather hateful here, to be honest with you. I don't consider myself a hateful person at all. As I've said, these videos tend to be just tongue-in-cheek. But if you do put yourself on the internet, you do have to expect this sort of criticism from these arsewipes. Same as the people that get on stage, I think. But I don't think you should tell me how to do my job. As Billy Connolly once said, I don't come to your place of work and tell you how to sweep up, muttering to yourself, burdened with all your outrage. I think you should carry a plant around with you to help compensate the universe for all the oxygen you waste. They do say the internet is the arse of the world, and you, my friend, are just passing through. Anyway, have a nice day, preferably somewhere else. The Pepperlanders writes in response to my weakest links in bands video, Ringo, you're an ignoramus. Obviously he didn't watch the video. Thumbnails, and he's just looked at the thumbnail and the title. Whenever I challenge people about this, they always say, oh, well, you should have made it clearer in your thumbnail and title. No, you shouldn't. Thumbnails and titles are meant to attract your attention and to draw you into the video. They're not there to provide a synopsis of what the video is about. Look at the description for that. And I did make it clear in the description that I'm responding to an article by someone else, you ignoramus. You're the sort of person that leaves a bookstore insisting that Farewell to Arms is about a double amputee, I suspect. You're commenting on a video you can't even be bothered to watch. You're a lazy aren't you? I bet you even outsource your farts to some kid south of the border. I don't know. Who ties these people's shoelaces? That's what I'd like to know. GBHT writes, virtue signalling with your James Brown t-shirt, LOL. I don't virtue signal because one, that suggests that I give a shit about people like you, quite frankly, and I don't. Secondly, I'm not virtuous at all, and I'm very suspicious of people that claim to be virtuous. And what's so virtuous about James Brown? That's what I'd like to know. He was a wife beater, an addict. He was an absolute tyrant in the context of his band. He even had his own band members pull guns on him, I think. And also at the height of the civil rights movement, he was a Republican voter. There's nothing virtuous about James Brown. And don't get me wrong, despite my criticisms, I absolutely love James Brown. I really do. I just don't think there's anything virtuous about wearing a James Brown t-shirt. Maybe you guys could help me out with this one. This one is Leza. Unfortunate name's got to be a troll, I think. Does anyone give a flying FCK? What you think about anything? Well, yes, 100,000 subscribers. How many people actually give an FCK about anything you have to say? I think it would help you a great deal in this life if you've had a speed bump between your brain and your mouth, so you could give you some pause before you make a complete arse of yourself. And finally, someone has sent me a picture to advertise the display of like Roman artifacts. And I thought, crikey, I must be older than I thought. So there you are, that's me collating the utter twattery that we have to put up with on the internet, just for your entertainment. If you feel I've been a bit hard on some of these people, remember it was Kant that wrote in his Critique of Pure Reason that the dildo of consequence very rarely arrives lubed. Anyway, if you're new to this channel, please do click like, subscribe and check that notification bell and share this video. Other than that, I'll just hope you are well, staying safe, and of course that you keep listening.